Hi everybody, it's Matt and Dyan. Welcome back to OK Aussie.
I'm a book.
You're not a book.
I'm a book.
And more importantly, you're not a magazine either,
I
or a
put on
comic.
earrings for this video and I'm already sensory overloaded.
I think you're a little bit overdressed for this episode, but anyway, whatever works. They have beautiful earrings.
I know.
Have a look up close. Show them a bit better.
They got bows and pearls at the same time.
Wow, that is pretty cool. I'm sorry about your sensory overloaded though.
And then my bed looks like this.
Well, it does look like this because
Why?
I've got a little project on the go.
What? You're reorganising your comics, right?
I know, my OCD.
Aren't they already in numerology? Oh, don't tell me we have to do that.
We have to do that.
No.
We do.
No.
We do.
You did this
It's
on
got
purpose
to be
because you know I can't handle
chronological,
it.
neurological order, and if they're not, my head...
Neurological order?
Well, it's neurological. It's by numbers.
They said neurological order. I'm like, well, we don't have that in this house because I'm here. There is no neurological order.
If there's nothing going on in that space at all. So, welcome to the channel if you're new, and don't forget to subscribe while you're about it. Both Dyan and myself have autism of slightly different flavours.
Varieties.
You're very classic in your autistic behaviours. We're both ADHD and we're definitely both OCD as well. Hence
Very
why
OCD.
we're here. But I wanted to talk about
Look at that.
and I was thinking about this.
I thought you already had it in number order. Or since we moved for the
No.
5,000th time, you
Since
gave
we
up?
moved for the 5,000th time, I gave up because you know what? When people box things, they have no respect for things being in sequence or order.
No, they're the normal people. We are not the normal people.
They have problems.
No, we are the ones
No,
with problems.
having things
We
in
have
order
OCD.
means you can find exactly that reference. You know where to go to.
You're normalising OCD now, and that's
So
just
we
not
should.
right.
It's a
well,
OCD is a
not
superpower,
all
obsessive
all
compulsive
have
disorder.
it. Some of us have it.
Yeah.
So you might relate.
Yeah. But that's
Well, have
the
fun.
task, because what happens is with each of these magazines,
I don't want to do this task.
they have a little number at the very, very, very top
I don't
of the
wanna do
corner. That has to be done. Put that away. I'll talk about that in a moment. But I was realising...
Tidying it up.
No, that's not... You cannot use your magic wand, Hermione, from Harry Potter.
Oh, wait,
Is
go
that
down.
helping? You're going to
It's
get Max up here in a
bouncy.
moment.
Ooh,
Now,
Maxie.
I am actually acutely aware that
I'm
my
a bit jumpy today.
hyper-focused special interest has actually spanned 5 decades, 50 years. I was first introduced to these when I was a 5-year-old child. They were in the house. I had a lot of war or military memorabilia, a lot of military history magazines and binders and stories. My dad had the records of Winston Churchill speeches.
My
We shall
pa called
fight them
his
on the
sausage dog
beaches.
Winston.
There you go. See, he was
Winnie.
influenced by
He's
that as
over
well.
there
We've
now.
got the sausage dog over
Well,
there. You
it's
can
the teddy
see where I'm
version of my
pointing.
Winnie that I
just
knew
there.
when I was a kid.
Sausage dog, Winnie.
Yes. Winston Churchill was who my grandfather liked too.
But for me,
Why?
over the years, okay, so I was introduced to them as 5, and obviously it's a picture, and they are a picture story book in black and white.
Well, I need pictures when I was a kid.
That's how I was absorbing, that's how I was
Because I
learning
can't
language.
read.
As I started to get more into being able
Maybe I
to
could
learn to
them
read and
now,
write,
because
that became more influential. And later on, these became the formation
they're
of
always
my...
fighting.
They are. Well,
Always fighting.
that's why it's called a commando comic.
Well, I
They
don't
actually
like
are all about
It's
action and fighting. And but we're going to talk about
it's
that.
boy stuff. That's for you.
Hold on, I'm going to talk about your girl stuff in a moment as well, because you've got your rod there for a reason. Because your hyper-focused
why?
special interest almost spans 50 years.
Yes.
It's actually about 49-ish years, because you're 51. At age 3, you were introduced to the first form of dancing, which was
an Australian
calisthenics.
form of dance, but you might be familiar with it. I don't know if you're not Australian, but yeah, calisthenics is a Australian design form of dance, which includes ballet,
Only in Australia.
gymnastics,
Ballet,
and
gymnastics,
and-
acrobatic, a bit of tapping, lyrical, bit of classic.
No, it's more like show dancing, ballet.
So it's a real conglomerate
Combination.
mashup, and it's unique to us Australians. We like to make
But I
things
think
our
it's
own, a
hit
bit different.
somewhere else though. not
Okay,
the
maybe somewhere else in the
country. Only
Commonwealth.
just recently
Who
though.
knows?
Because guys, there's always a miss. What do they call the? And this goes into adults. You can compete. Graceful.
Miss Graceful?
Yeah, Miss Graceful.
Okay.
Graceful girls. So you have to compete because it's the reason calisthenics is my favorite, because when I look back, it's a respectful way of dancing. You know, it's a way of dancing that's it's got class.
Sure.
And
The thing in her
What?
hand in calisthenics
Yeah, you
term is
measure
called
it like this.
is called a rod,
You measure
and
it
it
like
is
that.
measured specifically to the inside of your cheek to the tip of your finger. When she first started calisthenics,
It wasn't that big at all.
her rod was
No.
this big.
That's for Max.
Just to give you the shape of it,
Max's rod.
she was very small.
I was very small.
You actually were incredibly small.
I was.
And you also had
Just a mop of hair running around.
with a little
Really?
with a little matchstick
Ow.
as your rod back there,
Ow.
so you could twirl it like a baton and
Dude.
spin it around and hit things.
Well, if I
Like a
could see under
lightsaber.
my fringe, I used to have a very thick fringe.
But it was because of your genetic
Hello.
condition, which
I ran
leads
off stage because I saw my nana.
your genetic condition led to hypermobility, which is
Well, that's
Earl
what
of
they
Stanlos,
wanted me. I walked in.
out of the 14
they were doing the
types.
splits. I went, what's all the fuss about? Why is everyone groaning? And I just went, oh. I just went into the splits, and then they taught me how to put my hands up, and I went, oh.
pretty hands.
And then they looked at my mum and said, she's got to come back.
Yeah,
Because flexibility with calisthenics is everything.
it is absolutely everything. Now, I wanted to talk about
He's a
hyper interests that actually last a very long time. Now, I mentioned Dyan's because, like I said, at 3 years of age, she was introduced.
There's
Her
the line.
grandmother was a dancer,
Yes,
acrobatic,
dance
hypermobility, bit of the old genetics passing through. It led into dance,
She
and
was
dance has
very,
been her
very
focus all the
good.
way along. It's only been the crippling conditions
Yeah.
of having fatigue, such as ME/CFS, myalgic encephalomyelitis chronic fatigue syndrome, that really has put the knockers on Dyan being able to continue with her passion or her studies, learning to perform and to also teach. But she still watches, and she'll still try and do, when she has the energy amongst pacing, to do
Yes.
dancing even today. Now, my hyper focus for 50 years has actually been very influenced. And one of the things I want to point out, sweetie,
Yeah.
I was thinking about favourite colours. And as a child, my favourite colour, and I thought this was appropriation, was red. Okay. And I'm thinking, well, a lot, it's a kind of masculine
That's
colour.
a problem.
A lot of boys go with red. She doesn't like red. She's the
I
pink
hate
side.
red.
She hates red. But it was
I
also
don't know why.
red for fast cars. It was red for a fire
Yeah, that's what
engine.
they always say, but they don't go faster.
It's a very masculine colour in the, if you want to masculinize or
Yeah.
feminize certain colours.
But it's very strong.
But the reality is, I'm thinking about this
Bit
now
intense.
to date, and I'm doing this because my actual favourite colour is camouflage. It's not actually red. If I actually stop and think about it, and I want you to stop and think for a moment.
And all this is
Well,
army.
that's what I'm saying. I'm going to
Your
actually
colour
talk
is
about
army?
the influence. Well, no, because if it's a favourite, what does favourite actually mean? The thing that gives you pleasure, the thing that you go to, the thing that you
look at
want
goes,
around you
and
the
you
most.
just go in your head, you go,
I
joy.
love wearing woodland
Joy.
camouflage because
Joy.
for me, when I step
That's
out
it.
into nature and I hike and I go bush, it allows me to blend
snakes to see you.
into the Australian nature. But no, it's actually not to be seen, so that the
Hello.
animals feel comfortable. They are more their norm. They can
Yes.
frolic and play and come out from hiding.
Frolic?
Well, they do, but the birds frolic around. But you'll hear more bird sounds. You'll see
No, they
more
sit
animals.
like this. The kangaroos just
They
sit
do.
like that. It's like, you're lazy.
But it's interesting
You're
that
lazy.
my choice of colour, my
Mine.
choice of
Mine.
clothing, my choice of special interest has actually stemmed from 50 years of this.
That's
This has
why he
formed.
wears those pants.
It is.
Because of this.
But it's also formed other
it's
bases.
all your fault. That's all he wears.
I know, because obviously some people, someone in my family originally started to get these. Obviously, we've got a military influence in my family, going all the way back for us as Australians to ANZAC, the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, literally landing at the Dardanelles. I've got my namesake, my middle name comes from a great,
Yes.
great who happened to be there at the
Yeah.
time. And I actually got all his memorabilia at that time. And
I don't know my
again,
history of war, people.
no,
But on my one side,
but that's what I want to talk
Australian,
about for the moment, if I
don't know.
may.
My
It's,
uncle's in the Air Force. Well, he's probably retired now.
Correct.
But he was like in the intelligence department.
right.
Because he's smart.
But with my hyper focus and special interest,
Mm.
these things here which are around me, which I read, which I collected along with all the military stuff, form the basis of a lot of foundations. I'm pointing out choices of color. I'm pointing out clothing and attire. I'm talking about things of interests that I like doing. I like going abseiling. I like adventure, outdoor activities and sports. Join the Scouts,
Exactly.
whatever else.
You've read.
Because of things like this. But this also influenced me in
Makes
other ways.
sense.
So, for example, a lot of my early drawing, when I first started to draw at school, was actually based on
Loves it.
comics and doing
Yeah.
pencil type
Yeah.
drawings of
That's
these sort of
fun.
characters.
I used to trace.
My first type of stories
colour in the lines.
that I wrote, I actually wrote a Commandos comic
Wow.
in grade 3 at the time. That's probably my first book.
I wrote a
that I ever
story
wrote.
in year 7. Or
Right.
was it year 8? No, year 7.
What was that based on?
So, you know, I can finally write, right? Like, read and write. That I was a bit late. Happened in year 6, as in the beginnings of it. And, of course, by year 7, and it was, I think, towards the end of the year, and I wrote a story and I won an award. It was about
Fantastic.
Holly Hobby.
Holly Hobby.
It was about Holly Hobby. I know, I was sitting on my bed with the lecture pad and I'm like,
What am I going to
I
write?
can't tell stories.
Yeah.
Not unless it's real, right? I'm a real story. I'm a truther.
Right.
I tell real stories about. I mean, episodic memory makes it easy, doesn't it?
A hyper-focused episodic
I
memory.
thought I was just high functioning, but really it was just memories. Anyway, I got an award.
Okay.
It was apparently very good. I was like, wow.
But you had the Holly Hobby
What?
bedspread.
Yes.
Okay. It was in your environment.
Yes.
Holly Hobby was about arts and craft and sewing. Your mum was
Yes.
into sewing and
She was a
fashion and
dressmaker
French fashion.
Yes.
You have been
And I have
highly
my own little
influenced.
sewing machine.
So you
That
had a
was
sewing
fake,
machine.
Probably.
Right.
Probably just made noises
Right.
or something. I don't know.
You've enjoyed fashion
And
ever
I had
since.
Barbies with lots
We
of
know that
fashion,
she's
but
into
the Barbies
Shane.
were naked, so I don't think Mum would have been happy because they didn't look
But
pretty.
now take this on board from
And
my
I take
hand.
the arms off. How does that work?
Have a
Oh,
listen.
wow.
Have a little think.
What?
Think about how you have been taught, and particularly as an autistic,
Yes.
gender roles
No.
as we've gone along. Hello,
Are we
lovely.
trying? Right.
The whole family's
this is the
here.
family bed. Okay.
Masculinity and femininity of that
Yes.
era, what was stereotyped and
Yes,
what was
we were
explored to us.
typically raised.
So even now, what's your favourite colour?
Pink.
Pink. Do you like fashion?
Absolutely.
Do you have a sewing machine?
Yes. it's
Do you have
pink
anything
and
Holly?
white.
Do you have anything Holly Hobby?
Yeah, I've got a lap blanket.
Okay. So
To
at
remind
51
me.
to remind you. Now, as an adult, I've got the choice where I've obviously chosen to collect again along the years, and I've started to build a collection.
Yeah.
But these stories have also given me not only, I guess, these performed
Makes sense.
stereotypical roles, just like you
Yeah.
also just explored choices of colour, choices of fashion, having things like sewing machines, characters like Holly Hobby. But it also shaped me in learning things like history. You know, I would learn histories of different cultures.
Well, were you like me where
Mhm.
you would play with the kids, but because you weren't really playing with the kids, like when I say that, guys, it means I was babied. So the only way I fit in was people going, oh, she's cute, come here, because I was tinier than them.
Yep.
So they would just look after me. Girls do that, but I couldn't like speak and engage, and it wasn't a two-way thing. I just tagged along.
Right.
So I would enjoy that, but not for long. Everyone else would keep playing. I'd go inside and want to do something alone.
Right.
Because
So
it's
would
like
I.
decompression. I was doing it without thinking.
So
And
so would
My
I.
nana would be like, you need to be out playing with the kids. What's wrong with
So
you?
the things that I would go
I
into
don't want
doing
it.
would be reading
They're annoying,
the
they're loud.
available books that were at home, so the military history books and the comics. I would, and I got into these as a very young age, which when we're talking
Yeah.
about these things like the Airfix or Tiara or some of the other brands, Tamiya, characters, so the little toy soldiers. But again,
Yeah, they were fun.
I wouldn't just
My
get into
brother
normal
and I
toy
played that
soldiers,
in
I would
the
get
dirt.
I'd get the
Yeah, it was good.
cultural, the
Dinky cars,
regional,
soldiers.
the actual soldiers from different countries, because it would reflect the
Different uniform.
uniforms, the battles,
That knife looks nice.
and when you're talking about playing with other people,
Close that one.
okay, when we talk
Oh,
about
that one's got
when we
another one.
they've all got it because
Oh,
it's the commando
gosh.
dagger
I
at
don't
the
want
back.
to see.
She's talking about the dagger
I
that's at the
don't
back
like
of the book. It's the
knives,
commando
man.
dagger. Now
Mm.
that's also influenced me, but you know that in
Hey.
this, sweetie, in this current
Sorry.
era, we have things such as tabletop games, role-playing games. People get together and
Oh,
they
is there a game of
recreate.
this?
Well, as a child, let's talk about this as an
Oh, they're falling
autistic.
apart. Yeah.
I would actually learn and I would play games in the dirt, like with the dinkies, but I would have the dinky soldiers and I'd have the commando soldiers, and I would replicate the battles that were actually in between.
So you didn't just free play, because my brother and I free played. Like we would.
There would be elements of that
equally.
Yep.
And we used dinky cars as well.
No.
Divide them, and then we'd have like cities.
Yeah. So when I had the soldiers,
who's got the best city.
I would actually get to the point at a very young age of battalions. I would actually have the divisions. I would have the companies. I would have the grouping of, there's the artillery over there.
Oh, wow.
Here comes the cavalry. There's the tank crew.
No, we didn't play like that.
No, so it was that sort of level. As a young child, another thing I was thinking about too.
We played rummy. I don't remember.
Didn't play that. But I built a real size tank in my backyard out of wood at probably about, I think I was 8 or 9 years of age. Hammer, nails, I had wood.
8.
Well, it was actually dangerous.
But in those days, that was common.
Well, that's what we used to do. But I was so eager. I went early in the morning because I've got all the stuff. Dad's allowed me to use his tools. I've got the hammer, I've got the nails, and I'm talking about the big nails. And I was making a tank in the backyard, and it's like, well, the tanks that you might see in these sort of comics. And I woke up really early in the morning because I was so excited. Again, after reading one of those books at night to go to bed, I'd go outside and finish building the tank. Well, I was building the turret. And of course, I'd hammered in these nails, and I lifted my head up, and I'd actually pierced a nail into and just missed my eye by literally 5 millimeters.
Alrighty.
And it went in very deep. And I had all this blood streaming down my face. I'm thinking, oh, cool, just like in the comics.
Oh my god.
So I've gone inside to mum and dad, and it's like, Mum, Dad,
your mum's
morning.
A nurse.
Come and see the tank I've been building. And Mum's going, what's all that? What's that? Why are you wet? What's that? Why are you red? What's
terrible,
and she's a nurse. Why is there blood? Oh, I've stabbed a nail into my head while I'm building the tank. Off to the ambulance, off to the hospital. It's okay.
I was a bit more dramatic.
It missed all the major things. It didn't seem to worry me because, again, I was more focused about what I was making. And it really upset me because Mum told Dad off. It's like, you let him have nails? You let him build a tank in the back? I'm sorry, Dad. He had to be dismantled and taken away.
He entrusted you with that, and you messed it up.
I'm so sorry. It was so good. All the kids in the neighbourhood would have been so impressed to have a real size working tank, but with nails sticking out. But that's part of the influence.
Yes.
Did you have things like that happen? Were you so hyper influenced by, I guess, the things and the passion?
Dancing was everything.
It was everything. It was your consuming.
Lived, breathed, and slept it. Like everyone that would see me. Well, first it would be like, "How's your cat?" Because there's nothing else to talk about.
How's your cat? Yeah.
They're great.
There's always cats around, Dyan, so
we
know that.
Great.
Yeah.
They always are, if they're my cats.
If they're your cats, yeah.
He's got his...
It's so gorgeous.
Okay. He is so loved, and he knows it, and it's a little obnoxious.
Yeah.
And you've got sinus problems. But basically, yeah, they go, how's your cat? Because I was difficult to communicate with. And then it would be like, oh, hope your dancing's going well. And that's about it.
So those are the two things.
But I wasn't a talker, so people didn't really...
Well, you're selectively mute until 11 years of age.
Like my Uncle
autistic.
Roland and Auntie Veronica were probably the only ones that would actually... Probably my Uncle Andrew at times too, would take the time to actually spend patiently waiting for me to be able to engage, and I needed that.
Right, but unless you had that, you had so
Everyone
much.
Else just ignored
you had
me.
so much
like,
around
what does she
you.
Want? Okay, chocolate cake. All right. Yeah,
well, I was like
I'm
the
guessing,
lone.
But she'll eat it.
I was like the lone child in my family because all the rest of my siblings are so
older.
far much older, 15 years distance. But they were out of the home when I was a child, basically growing up. So because of that, and the dad that was at work, I was left to my own devices. So to entertain myself, it was playing with the Legos, playing with the Meccano, and literally building any of the models of a plane or a flying boat or whatever it happened to be. But also getting into...
I used to colour in for a long time.
Right.
But, let's not get excited about what it really was about. It's all about the process.
The process.
Because I can't colour in the lines. Even now.
Right.
Okay, people buy me like adult colouring in books, and I'm like, oh, trauma. Okay,
It's
because
still
my
there.
mum would go, it's not in the lines, because she's OCD. No, you've got to try harder. You've got to get in the lines. I'm
Now,
like,
see, that's a
I don't
conundrum.
care about the lines.
What an
I
oxymoron.
like the colour there, and I like the colour there.
You're
and
also very
don't
OCD,
care.
but you don't have the
But I
fine
didn't have the
motor
fine
control
motor
and the
skills.
skill, the dexterity, and
No.
particularly the praxia, to be able to do that
Well,
fine
she would
control.
give me ones too, like little word find. It's like my mum didn't even realise I couldn't read and write. So, because she never did homework with us. So, my brother obviously was normal, so he got through. But with me, she didn't even notice. So she would give me these word sleuth books and whatever else, and it's like, yeah, I don't know words yet. So that's
Pointless.
useless. So I'd look at it and be like, chuck it aside.
But here's where my,
But
and again, this
coloring
is showing the
fun.
male autism side. So some
I
more,
do stick figures.
there's a lot of assumptions and a lot of similarities. You know, a lot of autistics will line their cars and things up. Yeah, I did that. I lined all my toy army trucks up, like I said, in
Yes.
divisions and things like that. They might be into
Well, our son lined his
trains or
blocks up,
trucks
yeah.
or planes.
Our son lined the blocks up, or it was the dinky cars, or it
Me?
was the trains.
When we were doing, and we had to drive across Australia multiple times across the Nullarbor to Sydney and
Ew.
places like that because
Nullarbor.
one, they like to travel, and in the back of a station was I,
Deep
but also
Falls, the
for
Great
work
Australian
for my
White.
father. And everywhere we go, I'd have to make sure that they stop at the local parks along the way where they would have all the military ornaments,
Oh, yeah.
but also
There's a
things
lot in
they would
Australia.
have
There's
a lot of military stuff
Okay.
left over in those days. So they'd have the artillery guns, the
Yeah.
Bofors or the field
King's
guns.
Park. King's Park's got them.
Same
I remember
thing.
getting on them as a kid.
So there's a
and
lot
being
of pictures of me as a child travelling across Australia, and what am I doing? I'm hopping onto all of these
I was a bit
gun
of a tomboy,
emplacements or
actually.
tanks or things
See,
climbing
I was
in
a bit
around
of a
them.
tomboy because of my brother, because I would not know what to do. So my brother really was kind of my, I guess, my guide, really seriously, for a
Course it would
very
be.
long time, until he got burnout, to be honest.
Yeah.
My brother got burnout
Yep.
when he was about 11,
Sibling
12.
carer burnout
Yep.
occurs with autism,
And you know, he struggled, but before that he taught me a lot of things to play and play with him, and he'd teach me the rules.
Yep.
And then it would be like, okay, I can handle this because I understand what to do, and he would guide me in a fair square way too.
Right.
Sometimes he'd do the brotherly thing. It's like, you know, he'd trick me, and that's not hard to do, but like most of the time he's guiding me.
Okay.
So I was very much tomboy choices, and I had boy cousins.
Right.
So I just was like, and every street I lived in when we did come to the city was like,
There was always boys around. You didn't have, unfortunately, the influence of girls
No.
around you. Now, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up because, again, it's an autistic trait of mine, and I preferred to be by myself and playing these things. But it's also led to things that we still do today. We go to a lot of
Yes.
museums, like the
Yeah, we love museums.
Air Force Military Museum. I've been
That
to the
was
WA
cool.
War Memorial over in Canberra, those sort of places.
Yeah.
And they are interesting
They are
because,
cool.
again, it ties back to the history of the information
Well, we
that's born
went to
here.
Kalgoorlie, we looked at the history there.
Yeah.
I loved that, of the gold rush, you know,
Absolutely.
in Australia. But yeah,
But
we
the
watched
ex-
some channels too on history of Australia.
Correct.
You know,
The extension out of this
It's
was
cool.
obviously byproducts. So now I'm into modelling. Well, the modelling that I make is plastic models based on World
It's
War
not
One or
you.
mainly World War Two military history. And again, it's things like the Spitfire
Yes.
or a Hink or a Stuka bomber or a tank or whatever else.
Sad.
Elements and aspects of what would actually appear in here.
Yeah,
And
when we went to the museum, we
Yeah.
looked at one of the big Spitfires, didn't we?
We did.
And he explained how the engine works to me. I got to ask questions.
Hmm.
And he was like, oh, yeah, I'll answer. And I'm thinking, dude, thank you. Right, that, it twists like that, and it closes and opens. Does it go faster when it's closed or faster
and so
when it's
you love
open?
the science, don't you? In
Yes,
the
I
whole
guess
physics
so. That's
behind
yeah,
the
maybe I
actions.
should have done physics.
Maybe you should have.
But I do love sciences.
But isn't it interesting how sometimes our interests as
Yeah.
a child can still stick around
Oh, yes.
for so long,
Some people do
and
things until their 80s
influence
and 90s.
our actions?
Yep.
As a career path, I could have gone into military or special
Yes.
forces, and if I reflectively think about that,
Probably
I
would have been
probably
good for you,
would
yeah.
have and should have, wish I did.
Yeah.
It was the influence of other people and other determinations of choices which were outside of my
Yes.
control then that led to it. So
Your
in
family was
hindsight, I
very
would have preferred to
scripted.
do that,
I think
unfortunately.
they scripted not out of trying to control you,
Mhm.
though, out of like just fear of not having a good job. And
Yes,
and it's only
correct.
what they knew.
Correct.
People do what they know, you know. that's not really a what.
But I'm also thinking about what I've learned about the
Don't
world
chew my stick.
from this
No.
narrow view. Yeah,
Oh, don't chew the magazine.
I'll know the countries that are involved in conflict, in military conflict around the world. So I can tell you all the different countries,
Yeah.
particularly in Europe, etc., that were involved in the different theatres of war.
Yes,
So
you can.
there's a lot of things that I've learned.
I have no idea.
But I guess also too, it's a certain style of language, the certain words that were utilised. I've also learned that, which is probably not an appropriate thing for a very young age child.
But in that generation, our generation, it was different.
It was.
Because we were taught, and this is the difference, and no shade to people that are younger, it's just how we were raised. And I had someone who, my second cousin, Renee, her dad was in the Vietnam War.
Vietnam, yeah.
So I knew a lot about, I guess, the respect of war and the damage of war. And, you know, so we took it more serious in our generation as kids.
We did.
We didn't like mock the whole concept of war. We were very serious at our Anzac days and
Remembrance Day, Anzac Day, exactly.
Ever, no kid would ever muck up that day. But kids these days do. And I don't know if it's because they haven't met enough veterans. I don't know.
If you've ever been through it, and it's a bit like, and here's an analogy of chronic illness.
We heard the stories of war, didn't we?
Firsthand.
I've got family that were in the Holocaust and in prison camps.
Correct.
And you hear all these things about each war.
So it forms the basis
Yes.
of that. It gives us
You
that
take it
respect, and
serious.
it's a real closeness because you see the implications and the impact. And
Throughout
like I said,
generations,
a bit like disability and chronic or rare conditions, if you don't see them, if you're not living those experiences, you don't always know, and you don't actually get to feel what it's like to walk in the shoes of someone with a disability or a person who's been through these sort of experiences. So it also taps into the imagination, so you can obviously imagine yourself in these sort of experiences. Have you had any other sort of hyper-focused, special interests?
The magic stick.
You're going to take your magic stick away from both
He
of you.
wants it.
Right. Have you had any other? Are you getting hot again?
I'm hot and cold today, guys.
On the stick.
Oh my goodness. So what else have I been? Collecting gemstones.
Right. So where did that first initiate from?
My mum was a gemstone collector in the hippie days. So she left the hippie concepts, but I didn't. I was like, no, I like it. So I've always had gemstones in my house. I collected them at many different age groups, and she was collecting them too. They were all around the house, just in random areas, particularly in the bathroom. I don't know, but anyway, I played with them in the bath all the time.
So what's the tie in there? So there's the energies, the crystals, what they're meant to radiate around.
Whereas me, I'm like, where's this from? Oh,
okay.
It's from like, you know, some weird place I've never been. It's like, wow.
This one's from the Andes in Pakistan or something like that.
Really
you want to know the origins.
And I want different colours. I want every different colour. So I kind of have. Like, I can't go to a gem shop and just buy a gem because it's like, I've got that one.
So these things...
I've got 3 of that one.
These things stick with you.
Yes.
And a lot of special interest for a lot of autistics will stay for a very long period of time.
What to collect.
But it is. But then it becomes refined, doesn't it?
Yes.
So not just from the basics, you then start going, oh, I can collect them in different shapes, whether they are like the egg shape.
Well, now I've got the raw ones as well as the shaped ones.
Absolutely, pillars.
I've even got bracelets. Like, I've now got a variety.
So I think the special interest thing starts to get out of control after a while. It starts to expand. It starts to go off on slight tangents.
Look what I make. My geodes.
Your geodes, exactly right.
The resin geodes are inspired by gemstones. That's where my inspiration. You know, you get the little slices and they're really small.
Slices of agate and things like that.
Like a little playing card size, if anything, or less than that. And that's where I designed them from. My head was thinking of that when I designed that. That's my own free drawing geode.
There you go.
Because that's how much I focus on it. But then again, where I grew up in Denmark, they are very much into, you know, all of that traditional hippie stuff. Because they were genuine hippies. They literally were self-sufficient. They were fully functioning in those things. It wasn't just a title.
Nope.
It was literally a genuine, like, religion. Belief for them.
But look at this, is the girl wearing the tie-dye t-shirt at the moment.
That's a Denmark uniform.
What's changed? Nothing. So again,
that's a Denmark uniform.
Influence
you go to Denmark, they'll
from
be like,
early
she's
ages
definitely from here.
that sticks around. So for some of us as autistics, and I guess that's what I'm just going to tie in as we wrap up. look at the things that influence us early that we might latch onto as special
my goodness,
interests
I'm wearing,
that form
I'm wearing
our
a
beliefs,
hippie
our
top.
understanding of the
Yeah.
bigger world,
I just wanted some colour.
our communication styles, our writing styles, things that influence us in maybe our drawing styles,
Yeah.
our games
You know
that
what I
we
used to try
play,
and draw over and over
the
and
friends
over?
that we meet, the activities, our jobs, our career paths.
Yes.
And they stick with us 50 years, 100 years later. And then we also pass down these special interests onto our own brood, our own people around us.
Yes. Yeah. Well, mine have all been long lasting, a lot of my major ones. Of course, you develop different ones as an adult to a child, but yes,
Yeah.
there's a lot of mine that have never left. I used to catch sticks at one point, and I look for really, I guess, ornate sticks. I know that sounds weird, but
But
I
why?
did.
It's
And
that's your
even
thing.
when we drive along, I mean, remember when we were in down south?
Yep.
And we were
That's a good one.
in a cabin, and I was like, oh, we just drove past a branch. It's on the ground. It's not going to hurt anyone taking it. I want that stick, Matt. I need to put it in and it was a massive pot.
Yeah.
And I wanted to put it in there, like sand it back a bit,
Yep.
show the nice wood. So we did have to drive back, didn't we?
We did, and
And we
find
did
that stick in the
So
forest.
I went from
and I
little
found it.
sticks, but of course, I guess I'm an adult now. I can get
Went from
big
little sticks, she can get big sticks as she grows.
So I
Things
like,
grow in proportion as you
it's-
grow as an
but
autistic,
that
as an
attraction,
adult.
I'm saying that attraction to that object or
Yeah.
that collection or that item doesn't stop really. It might go quiet in your brain,
No.
but it's always there.
Absolutely. And for
I
me,
always, when I walk around, I'm like, that's a good stick. That's a really good stick.
or
I
you
leave
go
it
to the
there.
beach, it's
I
a
leave it
beautiful
there.
shell.
Yes.
You walk along a
Yes.
forest trail, what a great stone or a gemstone that
used
you
to
come
do,
across.
Yeah, we used to do that for a while, but that didn't become a collection for me. But we did that as a family. Like my pa would take us to the beach, and we would collect the shells and, show each other what shells we got.
And it brings you joy because it's around
Yeah.
you. It's part of nature that comes into your life.
Yeah.
And these special interests prevail
They
even
stick,
today.
Yeah.
I'd like to
stick.
hear from our people out here, our subscribers, particularly those who are specifically autistic. Do you have your special interests? Do you have special interests that have actually stuck around like us for decades, literally 50
Yes.
years or more, which will be with us?
I still
Have
love
your special
Barbie.
interests? You do.
But that's because my mum got me. I used to have this suitcase of Barbies because she was a dressmaker, and obviously, naturally, she wants her daughter to be into fashion. So she gets me Barbies. I had a lot of Barbies, and it was in a traditional suitcase, but a kid's suitcase, a small one.
Small.
But for me, it was big.
Proportionate to scale.
Yeah, but it was full of naked Barbies, and everyone would laugh at that. They're like, the Barbies are naked. And my mum would just be like, yeah.
And that,
Because I couldn't dress them.
the practice,
I
you
didn't
don't have the
the
dexterity,
ability.
the fine motor
And
control
my mum
to
would dress
actually
them
be
all
able
again,
to
and I
dress
think she
them
just
all.
gave up. She was like, oh.
She gives up easily on a lot of things.
And I ended up doing it, I guess, anatomy without realising it. It's like I'm taking off an arm, taking off a leg.
There you go. You could have become a surgeon, but that's how you learn also about.
No, I could not.
But you learn about fashion from that.
Fate, the sight of blood.
Yes, you do. She's not a good nurse, this one.
No.
Guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Just a brief look at some of our hyper
No, I was
focus.
looking at the engineering.
You were
See,
the
my
engineer
brain
of the
is
human
in,
body.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
brain is an engineering
How it works.
science brain. Like,
Yeah.
I want to know how everything works. I pulled apart my clock radio. Sorry,
Yeah.
Mum.
Did you put it
I would
together
need that
again?
now. No, it didn't go back together. But
Must
I
admit,
wanted to
I did
see.
the same thing, but I
No,
put it
you
back
know the
together
ones where-
again.
And
Yes.
it's like, I had to know how it works.
I know, same. I had one of those too.
Still don't know how it works.
Yeah.
But anyway.
You learn about electricity
I
by
pulled it
touching it
apart.
and realising,
Yeah.
wow, zap, that does give you some. Anyway, well, let's not go into that. It's another story. Big thumbs up of encouragement. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. A bit of an insight of just us sharing special interests, where they've come from, and how it's influenced, whether it's things like colour, whether it's to do with fashion and clothing, inspirations of
I
lifestyle,
love fashion.
friendships,
Yeah, fashion
activities
is
that we
another
do today
special
as
interest of
adults.
me.
And
Like,
why?
I do love fashion and it's a handy thing to like because most of us autistics choose comfort over fashion.
Yeah, exactly.
So to know how to be comfortable and fashionable, that takes a lot of thought. So I love fashion,
There you go.
but it's got to be comfortable.
Indeed. Well, let's find out what your special interests are in the comments below. And of course, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you in another episode
See you guys.
real soon. Bye for now.
Bye.